Twilight. No, subs. That's the intro and I'm sticking to it. Alright, maybe I should go into a little bit more detail, seeing as how I am a critic. First off, let me just say that I have never read these books, nor do I have any interest to. I have a penis, so these books are not written for my particular demographic. I've heard they're decent, or at least as much as a teenage Harlequin novel can be. But even if these books are decent and I'm not going to read to test them, I'm a film critic, not a book critic, there is no way anyone can defend that these movies are somehow good entertainment. I think Bill O'Reilly can actually put it best.
Fucking thing sucks!
Yep, I'd agree to that. In reality, I don't think these movies were made for anyone. These movies might have been made for tryhards, but they are not made for casual fans, and they are most certainly not made to get more fans. You know what? I know why this movie was made. 2 words. Harry Potter! Say what you want about the Harry Potter films. I personally think they're a very good franchise, based off of a fairly decent, actually better than decent, action fantasy series. But one thing that is absolutely certain is that once the franchise started to peter out in the last 3 films, studios were trying their hardest to find something to replace Harry Potter. They tried to adapt numerous books into films to see if one of them could stick. One of them could be somewhat entertaining so that they could grab people's money and keep them enticed in a fantasy action genre. And the book series Summit Entertainment chooses to adapt is a teenage romance novel written by Stephenie Meyer? Let me go into the plot, and then I'll explain what is wrong with the first movie. The plot. A girl falls in love with a vampire. There, I described the first 10 minutes of this movie. Then some bad vampires come, want to attack the girl, and her boyfriend has to now defend her. There, I just described the last 25 minutes of this movie. You notice something weird? I just described 35 minutes of story. Here's the problem. The movie is 122 minutes long! The movie literally spends almost an hour and a half doing
nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Nothing! In fact, nothing happens for so long that the characters themselves get bored and start playing baseball. And it's the best part of the movie. Only because Muse is such a great band. But even Muse can't save how stupid and horrible this movie is. Every single character in this movie is god awful, except for 2. One, the dad, who is awesome, by the way. This dad is so cool, so interesting. I want to know his perspective. This guy is a great dad. It's just a shame that he's completely and totally mistreated by everyone around him. I'm wondering, does Stephenie Meyer have daddy issues? Because the dad in this story is just treated so cruelly and used by everyone. The only other person in the story that's actually kind of interesting is the character of Jacob. Although from what I've heard, the next movies treat him even worse. But why is this guy not the boyfriend? This guy is cool. This guy I can relate to. He has been perpetually friend-zoned. Man, you have my sympathies. Let's talk about the main characters, because everyone wants to hear about them, don't they? Alright, let me explain Bella. She is a teenage girl, as written by a 40-year-old. As such, she is very, very, very stereotypical. And boy does she complain! You thought Ariel from The Little Mermaid was two-dimensional. Check out Bella. She is literally told numerous times, you cannot do this. This does not work. You cannot do this. What does she say? Screw you. I'm gonna do it and I don't care. And the movie goes along with her. She is always right. She never learns anything. Hey, movie, there's a little thing. It's called character growth. Learn it. And how does this girl get so many guys? Why is so many people defending this girl? She is bland. She is boring. She is downright mean. And Kristen Stewart, she has some of the worst delivery I have ever seen. Actually, let me reenact the very first thing you ever see this girl do in the movie. She literally looks like she's trying to take a dump in every scene. Her face always looks like this. And you think that's bad? Kristen Stewart can't act. Robert Pattinson can. I have always held that Robert Pattinson died on the set of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, rose from the dead, and became the character of Edward. That his acting actually died on the set of Goblet of Fire and became Edward. I mean, bless his heart, he's trying at least. But the character is so bland and downright creepy. Robert Pattinson actually has to utter the lines, "I watch you while you sleep." That is creepy! And this guy is a heartthrob? Apparently, Stephenie Meyer's idea of the ideal romance is an extremely abusive, very stalkerish relationship. That's not how relationships work. Ugh. Of course, the worst people in this movie are the Cullen family, with Jackson Rathbone being the worst of all of them. He has no dialogue in this movie, and yet he comes off as a worse actor than Kristen Stewart. He literally looks like a deer caught in headlights. That's all he does, and even that comes off as horrible. I just don't understand how these characters can be likable. The only characters in this entire movie who are likable are constantly mistreated by the author. The story hates these people, and you're supposed to hate them too. I can't bring myself to. The dad and Jacob are the two best characters, with maybe Jacob's dad being a third, but he's not really given a great deal of development. They are the good guys. Everyone else is in the wrong, with Bella being the #1 person in the wrong. And yet, there is still, and I am so upset that I actually can say this. This movie is actually kind of entertaining to watch.
No. It's not true. That's impossible.
Now, let me explain. This movie is god-awful. It is horrible. Absolute crap. And yet, it is so bad, it is actually kind of funny to watch how cheesy, how horrible this movie is. Because for a good portion of this movie, nothing happens. You are grasping at anything to be good. And it's actually kind of funny in how bad, how hard these people are trying to give you something that you're actually starting to take a little bit of it. Here's the thing. It's not a comedy, it's a drama! And it falls apart completely once the plot actually shows up. And you know the plot shows up because everything suddenly stops. There is now no comedy. It goes from being very lighthearted that you could actually kind of have a bit of humor with it, to there being no humor, to it suddenly grasping you in, this is important. We need to have a dramatic moment. Screw you, Twilight. There is nothing in this movie to get. And in fact, these characters are so angsty, so emo, they make Prince Zuko look like Sokka on cactus juice.
Friendly mushroom! Mushy giant friend!
Well, you know what? You know what? I have a friendly mushroom for this movie. I'll be back in a second. Yes, subs, I do think this movie is bad enough for this. For those of you who don't know, this is the bomb button. I only use this when there is a movie that is so bad it is insulting. And you know what, Twilight? You're a pioneer, the first victim of the bomb button. This movie is utter garbage. It is made specifically for money's sake. There is no point to see this movie. The story is bare bones. The pacing is some of the worst I have ever seen. The characters are bland, and the only characters who aren't bland are constantly mistreated. We are told that we have to love these two obnoxious, emo, angsty, pasty white kids. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. Kristen Stewart actually looks more like a vampire than the people who are supposed to be vampires. Oh, I'll cover the they're not vampires shtick on the next Twilight movie review. But here's the thing. I can't review these movies back to back. No, subs. No, I can't stand it. I need to review something good before I continue on with this garbage. This garbage. Wait a minute. What weekend's coming up? Woo! There's a red and blue superhero movie with my name on it. No, that's not till next year. This year. Alright guys, I'll see you guys next time on Cinema in Review when we will be taking a look at The Amazing Spider-Man, and then we will continue on with these stupid vampire movies. I'll see you guys next time.
Step 1 complete.